What's going on, guys? I want to thank you guys for your your continued support. But I don't want you guys to think I'm just a struggling Uber driver without a plan just because I complain how Uber and Lyft was robbing us. Let's be clear, Uber and Lyft is robbing us. Even if you're making good money, because I saw a comment where somebody said, well, my market, I'm doing this, and this amount of money. And they were saying how great it is. And they never mentioned how much they're spending on the wear and tear and the maintenance. They never mention the bad stuff. You know, they only want to mention the money. And they don't realize that, yes, you can make money, but at the expense of wear and tear on the vehicle. Guys, I know that I can make money driving Uber and Lyft. I can make lots of money. All I got to do is drive more hours and be willing to have even more wear and tear on my vehicle than I did when I quit in 2020. It's a simple fact. You can make all the money in the world, but per dollar for what you really should be earning, you're not going to get out of any of these gig companies. I would say any of them. This is not just a bash on Uber and Lyft. This is any gig job. It's meant to be a temporary solution. It's not meant to be a lifelong replacement for a job. Let's just keep it real. But at the same time, I would not go out and get a job either. Because in a way, that's a scam too. Here in Connecticut, for example, I remember like 10 years ago, guys, I was getting like, well, not 10 years ago. I'll say 5 years ago. I was getting $16 an hour, but that was on the low end. And now they raised the 15. A lot of people, when I was getting 16, a lot of people back then were even getting 20. 5 years ago. Now, fast forward, they raised the minimum to 15. And instead of paying over that, because these companies are struggling, they're paying literally 15. So it's like we're going backwards in the economy. So it's almost stupid to just get a job and think that's going to solve all your problems. Let me just stop driving Uber and Lyft and go get a job. No. While you're driving, while you're at that job you hate, you should start thinking about starting a business. It's that simple. Even if you fail, it was worth the try, because if you don't try, you're going to go through life with regrets. You're going to get my age or older and be like, man, I should have listened to that dude and I should have tried. So yes, I'm an Uber driver that doesn't make a lot of money, but I know part of that is because of my own doing, and I'll admit that. I don't drive the busiest times. I'm willing to admit that. I don't. I don't drive as long as I could. I admit that. But in my mind, I'm thinking across the board, I understand you're going to get paid more because the demand is higher, early morning, late at night. But I think across the board, Uber and Lyft should be paying more to each driver, regardless of the time you're on the platform. I believe we should have had all these features like upfront fares from jump. From the minute they launched, we should have had this. And then it wouldn't have been a surprise to Uber and Lyft on how many times we declined because we realized, oh, we're going to stop simping and actually, take a reasonable amount of money. We're getting tired of being played. They would have saw that from the jump. The algorithm would have adjusted for that. And I think we'd be closer to a perfect rideshare company. But because Uber and Lyft out the gate were thinking greedy, They were getting greedy back then, and they were paying high commissions to sign up drivers, you know, or referrals. I don't say commissions, but referrals. There was guys literally, I remember years ago, were making $2 to $5 grand a month just referring drivers. Just to refer drivers. And I know that sounds nuts because they're so friggin' tight and cheap now. I remember when I started, I signed up a guy that present day follows me on YouTube. Come on, come on. This lady's going like super slow for no reason. There's people that followed me for years, and they understand that you're not always going to make what you want to make, but they should be paying better. They should be paying better, regardless. But instead of crying about it, well, let's be real, we're all going to cry about it, but we should be trying to come up with a plan for the future. It's okay to complain. It's okay to not like your job. It's okay to not like Uber and Lyft. But you should be trying to come up with a solution. And I'm sorry, but running out and going to get a 9 to 5 to me is not always the best answer. That's a temporary solution, yes. If you're not doing nothing and you're not bringing any money, yes, by all means, go out and get a job. But I'm saying, if you're currently a driver, full-time, I'm really talking about, if you're a full-time driver and you're just getting by and you're maintaining, I would start planning your next move, because I don't think this is something you're going to be able to do, you know, for the rest of your life, because they're gonna take more, guys. It's never gonna end. They're gonna take more, and there's always gonna be that driver to be like, why are you guys complaining? It's great in my market. And that'll be when he's only making 20%, but he doesn't realize he has to drive twice as long, and he has to pay more in maintenance. So up front, he thinks he's making a lot of money, but he's not doing the math at how much he's spending in maintenance. Guys, I didn't. When I started driving for Uber and Lyft in 2018, I did not do the math. I was excited when I got $100 a trip, not doing the math. You know, I must have made like at least 50,000, I want to say, one year. And out of that 50,000, I swear I must have spent like, it felt like $20,000 in repairs. Now, literally, I did not add it up because I just didn't do the numbers back then. I simply just didn't do the numbers. I was ignorant like a lot of drivers are, and just drove wherever they sent me. Literally, I did not even calculate miles or anything. And without upfront fares, it was really hard to even know where you're going. So if you got a New York trip, you just got a New York trip. You know, eventually I got tired of that because I saw the wear and tear on my car, and I saw, oh, wait a minute, when I go to New York, I'm making $100, but I got to drive all those miles back, and I can't pick up anybody because New York and Connecticut have different rules. Now, if I would have been a private driver, I could have worked in my schedule where I could have made it work. You know what I'm saying? Had I been a private driver from jump, I probably would have been able to make it work because I would have been set up where I could have got a private ride somewhere on the way back or something. But it took a lot of learning. Like, I see people now saying, oh, I want to drive. They get excited. I want to drive because they think we're doing something big because we're making, you know, $100, $120, or some people are saying $150 in 4 hours. Yeah, in a halfway decent market, you could do that, but it's gonna be wear and tear on your vehicle. And all I'm saying is, I would plan for the future and just start a business. I don't think just living off Uber and Lyft is a great way or great lifestyle. And I also don't think a 9 to 5 is going to solve all your problems. Now, if you're a driver and you're working towards getting your, license in your city so you could become a private driver, that's not a bad move. I don't necessarily think that, even though the rideshare professor said I sound like I would do great in private rides, I probably would, but I don't necessarily think that that's what I want to do necessarily for the rest of my life, is be a driver, period. When I could come up with a streaming platform that doesn't require me to leave the house and make way more money. That's just the way I'm starting to look at things. So hit me in the comments, let me know how you feel. And I do enjoy being a driver, but I just simply don't think, stop complaining, go get a job is the answer. I think starting a business is the answer, because if your business works out, and even if it only brings you in an extra $200-300 a month, it helps. And I have some solutions if you want to start your own business. Of course, check the links below, subscribe, like, comment, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Thank you.